so today we're going to talk about writing equations with variables on both sides. These are very, very easy to do as long as you are very comfortable with the keywords. So let's talk about keywords you would have for addition. What are some ways that you can say addition? Add. What else? Plus. You got to speak loud because I can't hear you guys. Anybody else? Is that all that will say add? How about sum? Does that mean addition? How about combine? All together. Total. Come on, guys, think. Increase by. You guys are all asleep. All right, what about subtraction? Minus. Excellent job, May. What else? Subtract. Less than. Fewer. What's the word for subtraction that most people know? Starts with a D. Difference. All right, what about multiplication? Times. By, it depends on the context of it. Multiply. Product. What about division? Divide. You won't probably see that in a problem. Split. Like something split in half, that's division. Quotient. And what about equals? Same. Okay, so we're going to look at this problem below, and I'm going to show you the easiest way you could possibly know to write this problem as a word problem. So, let's read the problem together. Well, I'll read it so you follow. Hudson and Knox are in a race. Hudson is running at a speed of 8.8 feet per second. Knox got a 30-foot head start and is running at a speed of 6.3 feet per second. How many seconds will it take until Hudson and Knox have run the same number of feet? So now, I have two people in this problem. I have Hudson and I have Knox. Now, I want to know, have they run the same number of feet? So I know that they're going to be equal to each other. So now let's look at Hudson, and I want to write what Hudson's doing. Whenever you see the word per, that's usually where your X goes. Hudson is running at a speed of 8.8 feet per second. So Hudson is going 8.8x because we don't know how many seconds. Knox got a 30-foot head start and is running at 6.3 feet per second. So Knox is 6.3x plus 30. Do you see where that came from? And now, what do we know about these two? They are equal to each other. I'm going to move this over so you can see it a little bit better. And now, you can just solve it. How would I solve this? Subtract 6.3 from both sides. What's 8.8 minus 6.3? 2.5x equals 30. Now what do I do? Divide by 2.5. What does x equal? 12. So what does that answer mean? How long will it take for Hudson and Knox to have the same number of feet? 12 seconds. If you split each one up and then figure out what each one is, then you're good. Now, 2.5 is equations, 2.6 is inequalities. So we're going to do, let's do another one of these. Turn it over. And let's look at the back side. So let's look at this one. I have two things. I have celebrity A and I have celebrity B. So I'm going to write that down. Celeb A and celeb B. Now, let's look at celebrity A. They have 400 followers and are gaining 75 followers each day. That word each tells you where your X goes. So my X goes with what number? 75X. And then what else is happening with celebrity A? They already have 400. So it's going to be 400 plus 75X. Now, could you have written down as 75X plus 400? Yeah, same thing. Now let's look at celebrity B. Celebrity B has 1,000 followers and are losing 25 followers a day. What does that mean? Minus 25x. How many days will it take them to have the same number of followers, which means this is a equal sign. So my equation is 400 plus 75x equals 1,000 minus 25x. Now let's solve it. How would I solve it? I would add 25 first. So I would add 25x. That's going to give me 400 plus 100x equals 1,000. Now what do I do? subtract 400. And that's going to give me 100x equals 600 divided by 100, x equals 6. So how many days will it take for them to be equal? 6 days. All right, let's go down to number 4. Remember, your cell phone should not be out. If your cell phones are out, they're mine. They should be in your backpack. The only reason they should be out is if you're doing math, and I've given you permission to do so. Because I just saw 4 of them out. Okay, let's look at number 4. I have, what, 2 things? I have a bus ride and a bus pass. So to ride the bus, it costs $2.50 each time. For a bus pass, it's a one-time fee of $15, and you would pay $1 each time. I want you to write this equation. And then we're going to go over it. Okay, so tell me what the equation was. Let's go with Jasper. What'd you write for the equation? So, is it taking away $1 each time that you get on the bus? It's adding, so it'd be 1x. Okay, does that make sense? All right. Michael, what would be the next step? Minus 1x from both sides, which would give me 1.5x equals 15. And now what would I do? Bella, divide by 1.5. And what does x equal? So it would take me 10 times to ride the bus before it would pay. How many of you have ever done pool passes to the local pools? Okay, so to get a pool pass, you have to pay a set summer fee, or you pay $6 each time you go. Or I don't know if it went up this summer. So this is a really good example to see, would it be cost efficient to buy the pool pass, or just pay? So if you go to the pool every single day, would you want to pay each time or buy the pool pass? Probably buy the pool pass. But if you only go once a week for 6 weeks, it's probably cheaper just to pay as you go. All right. Let's go to part 6. Okay, so an inequality is when something is not equal. So that means that you have more than or less than, and those are when we use inequality symbols. Sometimes the words are hard to figure out. So we're going to talk about what each one of these symbols mean. Now, most of you know this as what symbol? Less than. Now, there are other ways to say less than. You can say smaller than, fewer than, exactly. Below. You guys learned some of these last year. Now, most of you know this symbol is what? Greater than. So what are some ways that we could write greater than? More than. Bigger than. Greater. Oh, we already talked about that. Above. Just some ways to say greater than. So let's talk about this one. These are where you're going to have fits because a lot of the times they're going to use words that don't make sense. So we know this one to be less than or equal to. But it's also at most. Which, when you see the word most, you think it's going to be greater than. But when you add the word at in front of it, it means it's less than. I have at most $10. Do I have more than $10? No. When I say I have at most $10, that means that I have $10 or less. So that's why it's a less than. Maximum. And let me give you an example then. I have a maximum of $10. That means I have $10 or less. So these two kind of make it sound like they should be under the greater than, but when you add that word eight, try and write it in a sentence and see if it works. And then there's no more than. I have no more than $10. Do I have more than $10? No, I have less than $10. So let's take a look at this one. Most of you know this one as greater than or equal to. It's also at least. I have at least $10. Do I have less than $10? No. minimum. I have a minimum of $10. Do I have less than $10? No, I have more than $10. And no less than. Okay, so I want you to write the inequality symbol, just the symbol, that you think would be in 1, 2, and 3. So, Carl has fewer than 7 hats in his closet. What would that be? Less than. Fewer is less than. Laney grew at least 1 2/3 inches last year. Greater than or equal to. Jamar can fit no more than 8 people in his car. Less than or equal to. Adrian wants to spend a maximum of $2.50 at the grocery store. Less than or equal to. Theo's suitcase weighs more than $56. $56. 56.75. Greater than? Yes. And then Patrick drank no less than 22 ounces of water before lunch. Greater than or equal to. So when we write our word problem, we do the exact same thing that we were doing. Ren and Abby are reading the same book for English class. So we have 2 people. We have Ren and we have Abby. Now remember, the where it's per or each is where your X goes. Ren is on page 100 of the book, and she reads 1/4 of a page each minute. So, how would you write Ren's part? Does she have a starting place? Yes, she has a starting place. What is she starting at? 100. And is she adding or subtracting to that? She's adding what? 1/4 x or 0.25x. Both of them work. Now let's look at Abby. Does Abby have a starting place? 88. And she is doing what? Is she adding or subtracting to that? She's adding. And what is she adding? 1/2 x. Now, let's take a look at what our inequality symbol is going to be. So, how many minutes will it take for Abby to have read at least the number of pages that Ren has? So I want Abby to be at least. So it is greater than or equal to. So my inequality is 100 plus 1/4 x is greater than or equal to 88 plus 1/2 x. Now solve it. Can you change these to decimals? Yeah. Since they're not repeating, change it to a decimal. That's the easiest thing you can do. Okay, my phone is set to silent, and every time somebody calls, the first ring always rings for a few seconds. It's driving me insane. It's on silent. What'd you get? What'd you get? So you can't just write 48. You have to write x is greater than or equal to 48. Because the answer is not just 48. It can be 48 minutes or more. Does that make sense? All right, backside. All right, number 8, I want you to write that. Just write the inequality. You're not going to solve it. You're just going to write it. Because we're not really solving these. We're only writing them. fast riding them. Grant? Yes, Grant. I'm sorry, I called you wrong name. All right, so I've got two people. No, I don't have two people. I have two ice skating rinks. So she's got an ice skating rink and a trampoline park. So I'm going to put ice and I'm going to put trampoline. I was going to put tramp, but that just doesn't seem appropriate. Thank you for laughing. All right, so Lizzie would pay $40 plus $18.25 per person. So how would I write that for the ice skating rink? 40 plus 18.25x. The trampoline is what? 124 plus 7.75x. So I know my two parts. Now, I want the cost of the party at the ice skating rink to be more than a party at the trampoline park. So what would that be? Greater than. That's it. You don't have to solve it. All right, let's take a look at 9. I want you to write the equation only. Okay, so I have got Neal City and Shepherd City. So I've got Neal and I've got Shepherd. Neal is 72 degrees and rising 1.3 degrees each hour. That's where your X is. So that would be what? And now what is Shepherd? Minus. Why is it minus? Because it's dropping. Now, in how many hours will the temperature in Neal City be no less than? No less than means what? Greater than or equal to. Okay, get out your homework packets. We're gonna do some of these in class. We've turned in all of practice 1, 2, 3, and 4. So you should have just 5 and 6 left. Looks like this. You didn't turn in 3? Did you turn in 4? Okay. So open up to 5. Look at number 5. Write the equation for number 1. So most of you seem to be done or still working. Somebody's already there. You have to wait till they get back. Check in, see if it's up there. That's where all the missing homework names are. If it was 2.4, I'd change that. I put an X in. I mean, I put 100 in that for it because that was my fault. But those are the only 4 assignments I don't have names on. Do what? Do you remember what assignment it was? So I've already changed 2.4. 2.2 would be either up there or you didn't turn it in because those are the only ones I don't have names on. You're Nick, right? No, it was just 2.4 and I fixed it. You're good. All right. Graham, you were front and center in this problem. So I've got Graham is hiking at an altitude. So I have 2 people, Graham and Max. Graham is hiking at an altitude of 14,000 40 feet and is descending at 50 feet each minute. What does descending mean? Minus. So I would have, I start off at 14,040 minus 50x. Max is hiking at an altitude of 12,500 feet and is ascending. What does that mean? Plus 20x. At how many minutes will it take Graham and Max to meet at the same altitude? What does that mean they are? Equal. All right, let's look at number 2. All right, I got 2 people, Nick and Adam. Nick and Adam. Nick weighs 160 pounds and is gaining about 3 pounds per week. How would I write that? Adam weighs 195 pounds and is losing 2 pounds each week. And they want to be equal weight, so it is equal. So I have 160 plus 3x equals 195 minus 2x. I would now like for you to solve that. Number 2, solve it. What'd you get? X equals 7. So you would add 2x to both sides. That would give you 160. My pen is going out. 160 plus 5x equals 195. Subtract 160 from both sides. 5x would be 35. Divide by 5, and x equals 7. All right, do number 3. I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. I have no idea. Oh, yeah, that makes sense. So the solution would be x equals 7. And then how much will Nick and Adam weigh? What's 3 times 7? 21 plus 160 would be 181. That's my fault for not reading carefully. So what should you always do? Read the question. All right, let's do number 3. Yes, I want you to do everything. All right, while you guys are doing that, I'm going to pass out your study guide for your test, which is not until Monday, but I want to pass out the study guide because we're going to do part of it today. All righty, are we done? Shall we see it? Okay, JC has a VIP membership to a movie theater, so she pays $27 a year and $6 for each movie she sees. Claire doesn't have a membership, so she pays $8.25 each movie she sees. How many movies they have to see in a year to order to pay the same amount that year? So this is similar to the AMC. AMC has a membership that it's $19.99 a month, and you can see 3 movies a week. I get it during the summer. Well, I did last summer. I didn't get, they were closed this summer. And so I would look, and I would have to go to a certain amount of movies each week to pay for my membership. So this is similar to that. So the VIP is what? What does the VIP cost? 27 plus 6x. And then what is the non-VIP? 8.25x. So we have 27 plus 6x equals 8.25x. So when we solve it, I'm going to solve it over here. I'm sorry, what? I still can't hear you. No. So I'm going to subtract 6x from both sides. 27 equals 2.25x. Is that right? Because I can't seem to add. Divide both sides by 2.25. What do you get? Is that, did I do something wrong? No, 12. X equals 12. So my solution is x equals 12. How much will JC and Claire pay for each year, for the year? So you plug in the 12 to either one of these. What would you get? Euler. What's the answer? 99. Okay. So let's talk about the study guide. Let me